All right, folks, here we are back in the gallery. So in the last lesson, we did this whole red circle, blue X thing. I want to show you just how to delete a project that you're done with. Let's go over to the select in the gallery. And then if you have a project that you're done with, click on it and then just hit delete. And away you go. All right, now, if you've been following along in the course thus far, we had a red rose that we placed into a file, a 2000 pixel by 2000 pixel workspace. Let's go ahead and click on that. So I'm bringing that back up. Ooh, see, I don't want to delete that. You have to X out. Now you can open up. All right, so now let's go ahead and work with layers, and I'm going to have you delete that layer that you made all the marks on. All of this is by design, folks. I'm going through and I'm giving you a lot of opportunity to practice the interface before it becomes mission critical. Now, when it comes to the layer, let's go ahead and left swipe, unlock it, and now how do we turn down the opacity? Go to the N, and let's crank down the opacity. All right, perfect. Now let's relock it. Left swipe, lock. All right. So why did we turn down the opacity? Because I'm going to put a new layer on top. I'm going to grab my studio pen, and I want you to pick the baddest, boldest red you've got here. Now let me show you something cool. If I grab this color wheel here, I can now pull it down wherever I want. This is cool. This is one of the things they did in 5. I no longer have to go to that corner, and it's awesome. Okay, let's grab the studio pen. Make sure you are on layer 2. And now I just want you to trace the profile of this image. So I want you to just go around and trace the outermost profile. By the way, this is part of my workflow. As a vector artist, you always did your shapes first. So I still think in terms of shapes when I do stuff like this. All right, perfect. Now let me show you how to flood fill. We did this in the layers check. Grab your red over in the upper right hand corner and swing over. And now, go ahead and release. Now if yours did not work, what you have to do is you have to make sure that it's a solid outline. If you have gaps in your outline, it'll flood the whole layer. So if that happened to you, your outline wasn't solid. Let me show you how to change something. I'm going to do a gestures video here in a little bit, but if you take 2 fingers and tap on the screen, it will back up 1 step. So there's undo, and then I'm just going to go ahead, flood fill, redo. All right, everybody relatively comfortable with this because now I'm going to push it a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's call this, click in the gray, rename, base color. Okay, I'm teaching you kind of to work as non-destructively as we can here. Let's add a new layer, go into the gray, rename, and call this outline. So I always put my outline and my base color on 2 separate layers. There's a method to my madness. And in the base color, let's go ahead, click on the N, and drop the opacity so that we can see through. All right, good deal. So now let's go and let's lock the base color. So notice I got 2 locked layers. And now on the outline, grab the studio pen and let's grab black. All right, here's what I want you to do, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I want you to go through and I want you to outline the guide here. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to start here. And now you see how big and bold that is? That's trash. I'm now going to go half the distance. That looks much better. And this is just practice getting to know your stylus, getting to know your method. Okay? If you wanted to go a little lighter, double click and you could drop down a little bit lighter. I wouldn't make the lines too weak though. I think you need a strong, solid outline. Especially if you're going to be doing traditional tattoo roses. Okay. All right. I'm going to go through and I'm going to do all of my interior lines, and then along the perimeter, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to thicken these up a little bit. Now, one thing that might help you, grab your thumb and your forefinger, pinch them together, and then rotate your wrist. This is how I'm rotating my canvas. We do have a lesson on gestures coming up, but I wanted to give you that one early. All right, we're going to go ahead and speed this up so that you don't have to watch me draw for 30 minutes. All right, so once I got to the outside here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bump up my line width just a little bit, because I believe that on the outside, you do have to have a very solid outline when it comes to traditional tattooing. Okay, see how that line was trash? Let's go ahead and bring that back. All right. So now the reason that I always put things on 2 layers, just wrapping this up, we're going to come over, we're going to left swipe on the outline layer and lock it, and we're going to left swipe on base and unlock it, and then I'm going to come to my eraser tool, and you'll see when I double tip on my eraser tool there, I'm using the hard brush as an eraser. I'm going to go ahead and drop down that brush size, and now I'm just going to come in anywhere. Oops, that's why we lock it. Make sure you're on the right base layer. Anywhere that it was going over that outline, you want to eliminate it. And you'll see that I still have some red peeping out here. That's just the image below, so it's not actually on the layer. I'm destroying everything on that base layer. I like to use my outline to cover areas where my... Ooh, that wasn't good. I like to use my outline to cover the areas where my baseline wasn't extremely good. It's a nice way to make up for it. Okay, see how I took a little bit too much off that? I'm going to have to drop down my eraser. Oops, went a little bit too far again. All right, that looks pretty darn good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the layer visibility on that other layer. Now, how did I do that? You saw the check mark right here? On, off, on, off. So you did a lot in this. You learned how to flood fill. You did your first lining. And then you went through, created different layers, locked layers, turned on and off layers, and really set up for a non-destructive process on this traditional rose. In the next lesson, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a theoretical conversation about line weight as we finish up the lining on this rose. All right, we'll see you in the next one.